Hello, Aquarius. It is time for your reading for March 2023. Now, let's see. We're going to do a pick a pile reading. This is pile 1, pile 2, and pile 3. So, please take a look and pick your piles while I do the introduction. My name is QueenAusetHeru, and thank you for joining me for another wonderful edition of Ask an Aquarius. If you haven't already, please hit the red subscribe button and smack the bell. Also, if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and pass it on to anyone and everyone else that you know. Please give us a positive comment in the comment section, and if you want your own personal reading, please email me or hit me up on social media. All of my information is underneath this video. Also underneath this video is the mat that I have. You can see the pretty colors here, the pretty colors there. The mat that I have underneath this, so this looks nice and smooth, is from Ascension Life brand. And if you're interested in getting one to do your readings on, or any of the products she has out there, I mean, there's so much stuff and so much beautiful artwork. That link is underneath this video as well. Alright guys, let's get started. This is going to be pile 1. So Aquarius, if you picked pile 1, this is what you need to pay attention to in March. First of all, you got the King of Cups, and the King of Cups is reversed. I'm going to turn it in the upright so you can actually see the artwork. When the King of Cups comes up reversed, what this is telling you, Aquarius, is that you have to be very careful with emotion during the month of March. Either you or somebody you're dealing with is going to be dealing with some very heavy, intense emotions. Now, if it's you, these could be emotions that you're choosing to bury, or you've chosen to bury in the past, and now they're coming back up. This could be a number of things like that, because when the king is reversed, that means his emotions have him off balance. And then if Aquarius has emotions like that, we generally stuff them, repress them, detach from them. And this card is saying don't do that. This card is telling you to go into the depths with them and deal with them. And I always say this to people who have like these kind of pent up emotions: better out than in. As the saying goes. And some of you will be dealing with a person, and this person may be overly emotional or detached from their emotion, or have some other type of emotional problems. They could be a narcissist. They could be, and again, this could be you. It could be you or the other person, narcissist, depressed, anxious. Any kind of emotional problems that overwhelm you could be going on for you or someone else in the month of March. And it is very important. It came up for your first card, so it means it is something that you should deal with head on. Now, I'm going to give you your second card. This is your second card. Your second card says you can't take everyone with you. This means that for some of you, that King of Cups is going to be another person, and it's going to be a person that you might have to kick to the curb. Because like this card says, you can't take everybody with you. Everybody isn't meant to go where you're going. And this means that sometimes in life we outgrow people. Sometimes they outgrow us. Sometimes we have different paths to take. For instance, you know, one of your friends may decide that they want to move away and live in a foreign land, and you're going to stay in your old hometown and maybe, you know, do some restoration projects. Sometimes people that we love go a different path, and that's fine. So some of you are going to find that that King of Cups cannot go with you anymore, and that's fine. And for some of you, it's going to be other people in your life, and you're going to start to realize, these friendships may not be the same forever. Oh, this one is really important. Let me show you this one. This is about your money, Aquarius. You know how we are about money. Let me show it to you in case you want to screenshot this. They recommend you answering these questions, kind of like a journal assignment, a journal prompt. And I'm going to tell you what striving is all about. So as you can see, what it's saying here is that for some of us, whoever is in this particular pile, some of us have an issue with having enough. It means that you're striving for whatever. You're constantly working. For example, a lot of Aquarius have a tendency to be workaholics. So a lot of us be working. And one thing about Aquarius, we get to a goal And then we set another goal. Those of us that are really ambitious. So it's like you're always striving for something. You never have a chance to just smell the roses. So this is asking you, at what point will you feel like you have enough? And that could be enough work. That could be enough money. That could be enough businesses. When will it be enough? Where does this need come from? And in what ways is this a moving target? So basically, at the end of this, you're going to think of, is your striving in a healthy place? Are you striving? Do you know when you can stop striving? At what point have you got to the top of the mountain? What does this success look like for you? Because for some of you, it may be a very specific thing. And for some of you, it could just be the fact that you're so addicted to striving that you haven't even figured that part out yet. And now it's time to consider it. And your last one is so cool. Check this out. This is from the Runes for Modern Life. And I'm going to tell you exactly what it says for you. It says here that this symbol right here, this is the rune itself, is the symbol of both the human race and the individual self in the rune deck. It celebrates everything about humankind that elevates us: our intelligence, our compassion, our creativity, our artistry, and our ability to innovate. It is a symbol of the collective consciousness and values we all share. But at the same time, it is strongly associated with an individual's self-awareness. If this rune appears, you are encouraged to think about your attitude towards others and what your unique contribution to the world is. This is very Aquarius, by the way. Humanitarian ideas are very Aquarius. What assistance or service can you offer others? There may be some conflict between your beliefs and the demands and expectations of your family or society. But if you continue to deny your true self, you will feel increasingly frustrated and isolated. Study, or the acquisition of new knowledge, is another key theme here. Perhaps further study is the way for you to find greater fulfillment. So for some of you, this could just be going back to school. For some of you, this could be independent study, like reading books about spirituality or topics that you're interested in. And of course, the overall theme is looking at your causes, Aquarius. What causes do you have? Have you been giving to your causes? Have you been engaging in them? All of Aquarius have their little humanitarian things. Maybe this is a push to take yours to the next level. All right, my dears, in pile number 1. Thank you. Now we're going to move on to pile number 2. Let's move this. Yours is in the reverse too. You got the moon card in the reverse pile 2. Pile 2, this is a very interesting card for you. The moon, when it comes up reversed, says that you have to be careful, because those of you in pile 2, there are some things that are hidden from you, and they may actually come out in March or after. The moon has 2 sides, as we all know. We can always see one side from Earth. Well, we can't always see it. We can see it a lot. Sometimes it goes dark on us, but we can generally see it most of the time. But the other side we hardly ever see. It's called the dark side of the moon. So on the dark side of the moon, as it comes to tarot, there are things hidden. So there are things hidden from you that may have already come out, or for some of you are going to come out. And that's something you have to be really careful of. Also, another thing you have to be careful of with this particular card is other people around you and their intentions. When the moon is reversed, sometimes you have people around you that don't mean your best. You also can have drama, chaos, and conflict when the moon is reversed. So it could be like drama with your girlfriend, drama with your neighbor, conflict at a party or something like that. So for the month of March, you have to be really careful, pile number 2, because this is not a fun card. This is a card about being really careful, and some people may even be paranoid. You know, this card sometimes makes certain people paranoid, so you have to be really careful. The good thing about this card is that a lot of people who get this card are very intuitive, so you should be able to intuit danger. You should be able to intuit when things are, you know, have gotten to the point of no return. So you probably have a strong intuition and you need to use it. This is not the time to ignore your intuition. All this month you need to be paying very close attention to what's going on. All right, let's see. Okay. Yeah, see, this is another one. Look at that right there. Concentrate on what's already on your plate. So you need to concentrate. That's what I was just saying. Concentrate on every intuitive message, every dream that you have, every feeling that you have. Really concentrate on that and act accordingly this month. Do not ignore. And don't add anything else on your plate either. What's on your plate, this card is saying, is enough. So don't add anything else. Like, for instance, don't take on another project. You know, don't, you know, if you can, of course, if you can help it. I know in some cases we can't. But if you can help it, do not take on anything else. Just concentrate on, you know, doing exactly what's on your plate, whatever that may be, work related, family related, and try not to take too many things in because you may overwhelm yourself. Now, for you, here's yours. They gave you some journal questions too. For money, it's about your values. What is the relationship between what you care about most and what you're spending the most money on? What can you learn from this observation, and what do you want to do about it? So if you want to screenshot that and journal that, a lot of you will get a lot out of that. So this card is pretty much self-explanatory. What it's basically telling us is that your values are apparently not aligning with what you're spending on. Some of you may be spending too much or may not be spending enough. It really depends on your answer to this question. Each one of us is going to answer this question differently. But what they want you to focus on the most are the things that you value. So if you value, you know, getting a new home, for example, that means maybe you shouldn't be taking weekend trips every other month. Maybe you shouldn't be buying Versace jeans right now, you know. Maybe this means that you need to buckle down on those values, you know. Or maybe you aren't spending any money at all and there are things that you value, such as maybe you need a new wardrobe, or maybe you need something. Maybe you need to take a class, but you don't want to spend the money, but it's going to be a value. So you have to look at what those values are, and for all of us, this one is going to be different. So I would suggest that you journal this one, and that will give you the answers that you need. Now let's see what room you got, pile number 2. So as always, this is the room right here. The card is just the extra, you know, beautiful illustration. But this is the room from the traditional, I think it's the Norse Society, if I'm not mistaken. Now I'm going to tell you what it means for you guys in pile 2. This one is a symbol of brute strength and power. The wild ox of ancient times was both revered and feared because it was wild. This rune is a symbol of physical power, vitality, and good health. It can also suggest great emotional courage. If you are going through difficult times, you must find the creativity inside yourself to pull through. You have great power within, and you need to unleash that power. When you do, there is no stopping you. This is also a rune about the need to take a risk and not to fear change. But conversely, it may also be urging caution. Energy that is misdirected can do great harm to both yourself and others. So ensure that your words and actions do not wound or result in chaos, but rather in healing and peace. So this one has a lot. Overall, we're getting physical power, vitality, and good health, an emotional courage, creativity, and you have great power within you. It also tells you about you may need to take a risk and do not fear change. And be very careful with whatever decisions you do make. They're urging caution. And of course, they talk about lean towards healing and peace. All right. All right. I'm feeling that, ladies and gentlemen. That is your room. All right. So now we're going to move on to our next pile. Our next pile is pile number 3. Let's move this. Let's put that back. Let's flip this. 6 of Pentacles, and we have to put it into the upright to be able to look at it, but it came up in the reverse. So what does it mean when you have the 6 of Pentacles reversed? Well, pile number 3, the 6 of Pentacles reversed means that in the month of March, your main concern really should be balance. You should be trying to balance yourself out in the month of March. And balance indicates mind, body, and spirit. So it means that for a lot of us, like for instance with me, I'm very strong mentally and spiritually. But I'm not always strong physically and emotionally. So for me to balance myself out, I have to pay attention to the areas where I'm not the strongest in and utilize the areas that I am strongest in. So that would be, you know, exercise, or that would be, you know, continuing to journal and work on my emotional self, which I do. That kind of thing. So it's saying to you, pile number 3, to spend this month figuring out where your imbalances are and doing something about them. For some of you, it might be small things. Like for instance, in the figure we have here, he or she looks like I can't tell. Let's just say they are smoking. So for our physical body, this may not be the right balance. So she may need to work on that during the month of March. So we all have one or several that we could be working on. Pile number 3, you also have here this card. You could use a friend right now. Reach out. This card is really, I mean, of course, self-explanatory. So some of you need to reach out to a friend. Some of you just need somebody to talk to. Some of you might have some ideas, maybe a business proposition. Some of you might need a girls' night or a guys' night out. You know, some of you have been working so hard that you haven't seen your friends in forever. You know, very Aquarius energy, you know. So this card is indicating that it would be a great idea for you to reach out to a friend or a few friends and have some fun. Aquarius always do that. We're a sign next to Capricorn who will be so quick not to have fun and to just, you know, dig our heels into whatever it is that we have to do. And a lot of times what we have to do is important. I'm not saying that it's not, but we also have to remember the importance of having some fun, letting your hair down, relaxing. That is very important too. 3. Now for you guys, this is your money card. So your card is about fears. They didn't give you journal entries. What they want you to do is think about what fears are holding you back. One of the first things we learn in priestess training is that doubt, worry, fear, and pessimism are the easiest ways to kill your manifestations. So this card is asking you to consider, what fears do you have and which ones are getting in the way. For example, you may have a fear of going back to school because you might fail, but yet and still it would be very helpful because it could maybe give you more money, because this is a money card. So whatever fear that you have around going back to school, this card is saying figure that out and work through it, because you're holding yourself back. You're holding yourself back in your ability to manifest. Let's say, for example, there's a position, a supervisor position, and you're afraid to put in for it because you're not sure if you have what it takes. Again, holding yourself back from money and from the title and from the position. So for many of you in pile 3, your fears are stopping you from manifesting what you want. And here's our last one, pile 3. Here's your room, pile 3. It's right there. And I'm going to tell you what your rune is talking about. Your rune says this card is associated with ice and frozen water and generally indicates a blockage. standstill, or lack of action in some area of your life. See, that's where the fear is coming in. Your fear is this blockage for many of you. This could be a loss of physical energy or a mental fog or psychological block that paralyzes you. This status will likely cause frustrating delays in your life, but instead of fighting the obstacle, the card advises you to stay calm and conserve your energy. Sometimes there is nothing you can do but wait for a change in circumstances. Bide your time because the ice will melt. As far as relationships are concerned, this card points to icy tension and possible conflict that feels like it cannot be resolved. There is an urgent need for objectivity and concentration now. You need to decide whether you are going to invest any more of your warmth and energy into a certain relationship to see if the ice will fall or if it's time to gently and calmly let it drift away. Wow. That's pretty deep. That's really deep. So as you can see, that blockage I was talking about before, and then we see that there is potentially conflict. So you're going to have to look at your relationships as well. You have to look at your relationship with yourself, and you have to look at your relationship with others. All right, pile number 3, that was your last card. And Aquarius, thank you so much for listening for our predictions for March. And you know I'll be back in April with even more predictions and more pretty cards. Underneath this video, I will also list all of the cards I used and the links to where you can get them if they are still in print. Take care, guys, and you come back soon because I got a lot more to say. See you later.